eyes, the tissues in my eyes are degenerating. And I just thought that there was a parasite in me that was making my eyes burn, and that was why it was happening. So, like, but the real truth is it's something wrong with me. And it's so wrong with me that I don't recognize that it's my fault. I'm really good at missing the things that are my fault. Well, not my fault, just, the way my body works. And I'm really annoyed right now because in my head, I had this perfect comedy sketch routine, and it was coming out so well, but now my trauma brain is getting in the way and nothing's coming out right. And I wish I had an audience, because that all of a sudden puts me into like hypervigilant mode where I can think of all sorts of things that are funny. Oh, and you laugh, and I hear you laugh in my head as I'm saying this to my phone in my bed, because now I can hear the audience in my head and you're responding, which is feeding my dopamine receptors. Oh, why am I talking about dopamine receptors? That's right, I haven't even said this yet. The whole point of me talking about my eyelids, first thing, was that I have autism. Yeah, like Nanette. And I have ADHD. Which, like Tig Notaro, feels like this big, huge diagnosis of cancer. Well, and I lie a little bit, and that's the autism speaking. It's actually really fun once you actually know what's going on a little bit. Like, it's like, oh, no, the world is just... I mean, I thought it was my playground before, but for different reasons, and we'll get to that later. Maybe we will. Hopefully I'll remember. Okay. Anyway, so... The reason I can hear you in my head as I'm talking to my phone right now is because in order for me to stay on point and to be able to continue to keep talking, I need an audience to feed my dopamine receptors so that my brain will keep thinking of really funny things to say. Now, if I had turned this phone off and I was laying in my bed, this would all be playing in my head with perfect auditory clarity. Like, I would hear my voice and I would hear my inflection, and I would also hear the audience, which is another autistic ADHD trait. You know what the other way they put it? I'm neurodivergent, or rather neurospicy. It's like, okay, I have a very spicy brain. But the truth is, like, not everybody you meet who is neurospicy feels all that spicy. And I don't say that in a mean way because I actually love people like this, because they're the ones with the ooey gooey squishy loving hearts that I'm like, oh, this is the kind of autistic person that could just love me for me and get me for me. And now I say that because you don't know the joke. I will tell the joke before you even know that it's a joke. And so sometimes I'm not actually that funny. But I think I'm funny. Train of thought, lost. Okay, where did it go? Come back. Where did it go? Come back. Why I'm funny. Why I'm not funny. That's what I was actually saying. Why I'm not funny. Because you have no context for the joke I'm telling, which is a very autistic thing to do. And something else that goes along with that is over-explaining and becoming a really good storyteller so that you do know all the details. But then I'm keeping you here for 20 minutes to tell you something that I could have told you in 20 seconds. Because I have to give you all the context. Okay, speaking of context, going back, why these people are boring. I found the thought again. Yes, I did. Let's not lose it. Okay, so why these people are boring is because they have no trauma. And they see the world in this beautiful way. And the reason I say that too is because my brain is so insane that I have seen it from both sides. And now I'm giving you some context that you don't know about why I'm saying what I said, because I used to be both religious, I was Mormon, and spiritual. I lived in Bali. Oh, that's a whole nother train. Sorry. Anyway, I was spiritual. And then I've also been like fully atheist. And I've gone Mormon, atheist, spiritual, atheist. And each one of those belief systems came along with me being so fully in it that I couldn't see the other way either. Now I see it both ways, because guess what? I've tapped into what is called autistic nostalgia. And now I have, like, I've got my tarot cards in my room. Sometimes I believe in them, and sometimes I don't. It's like being able to elect if Santa Claus is real. Yes, I know that one was actually funny. And what's even funnier is that I'm laying in my bed naked giving you this monologue because I can't sleep at 4:45 in the morning, and this has been running in my head since about 4 in the morning, and I finally decided to get my phone out and record, which was terrifying because I was like, oh, am I going to lose the train of thought? Which I did at first, and then I started hearing you in my head, and then I got it all back. Well, not entirely, because here's the other thing. I sing. And I'm not going to sing because I don't want to get my ukulele out at 4:45 in the morning because I have a roommate and it will disturb her and my neighbors. But I really, really, really want to now because I have some really awesome songs that support my material. But in my head earlier, when I was running this sketch routine before, I was imagining myself with my ukulele on my body, and halfway through the set being like, oh yes, by the way, I have songs. But I forgot that I have songs because I'm on a rant. But I didn't forget that I have a ukulele, only I kind of did. Because I'm able to choose. But I'm also keeping track of the fact that I'm feeling this ukulele on my body. This is uncomfortable. I've got straps. Oh my God. And so I have to divert my attention. Oh, there's a car. Speaking of, I have to divert my attention to focus on the task at hand. But simultaneously, I'm keeping track of a million different things. Oh gosh. Yeah, so my sketch routine would include music. And this, if it was planned out, which my autism wants me to plan it out, it would be very clever and coordinated. But my ADHD doesn't want me to plan it out, so it's not clever. Well, it is clever, but it's not coordinated. And it's only clever because I know it's clever. You don't know it's clever. And I just realized that something I'm not doing here is leaving space for laughter, which it would serve me very well to go take a class and practice this. But my brain is going constantly. It's stream of consciousness. And if you listen to my songs, they are 12 minutes long and I don't stop. This is what I was taught in university. Oh yes, by the way, I have a degree in music education. So I know that rests are important in music. But my brain doesn't rest, so guess what you get? You just get thoughts going one after the other. Put one foot in front of the other, da-da-da-da-da, and soon you'll be walking out the door. Oh, that's a whole other existential thing. The whole part where the wizard is looking oh my gosh, my brain just went somewhere totally funny, and I'm not going to go there yet because I need to explain the wizard. If I want to be the reflection I see in the mirror each morn. Oh, you do? You mean that it's just my election, just that, to vote for a chance to be reborn? Holy fuck. It's so crazy that all of this is connected because I said I had another thought and I'm getting there. So something about being autistic and with ADHD is that you have this internal conflict that is so deep that you know something's wrong with you. And yet you're so good at masking that you think you're normal too. Like, I didn't used to be funny, except for when I was really little, I think I was. But then social things happened that traumatized me, and I started masking, and now I'm not masking anymore.
Except for when I am.
I started to convince myself that I was very serious.
Kendra, you're still very serious.
Safety mattered greatly to me. My autism really, really, really took over when my sister was born. I think. I used to think that it took over when school happened, and so school was the problem. Now it's my sister. But I will go back to spirituality and this existential. If I want to be the reflection I see in the mirror each morning, you mean that it's just my election to vote for the chance to be reborn. And knowing that I'm so different, I have gone on a fuck ton of adventures to discover what's wrong with me so I can fix it. And I'm always trying to fix it. I actually, so Mormonism was more just trying to fix the lack of structure and get some rules and get some context for the world. That was actually a really sweet thing, you know. It's like, oh, I need a mommy and a daddy to tell me how my place in the world is. But then with spirituality, it was more like, I don't understand why my life is so hard, so I'm going to try and fix myself. And now I'm going through the whole track of things from the moment I left the church. And this is probably the first time I really thought about it this way, of how that it started while I was still in Mormonism. What's wrong with me? Which led me out of Mormonism, but then led me back into re-indoctrinating myself through spirituality, because autistic nostalgia means that I still have the warm fuzzies for singing songs like, I'm trying to be like Jesus, I'm following in his way, while simultaneously being absolutely repulsed by it. But I can forget that I'm repulsed because object permanence is another thing I struggle with. So when spirituality came around and said, you can fix yourself and you can choose your life, I was like, yes, bingo, we're going down the road of programming myself. So spirituality began with sending subconscious messages to my brain, affirmations, which there is a lot of good research backing up affirmations. Hello, dog. So I was playing tapes at night. I'm starting to feel like this isn't funny, and I'm starting to not hear the audience in my head. Come back, guys, come back. I need your laughs or my brain's gonna not think of funny things. Woo! Okay. Slightly high achieving, very high achieving, extremely high achieving, can't keep a job. 'Cause I miss social cues, or I overreact, or I underreact. I don't appropriately react to a situation. But that's not even the biggest problem. The biggest problem is like with the trying to fix myself. God, I'm so good at following directions, which is a high achiever, A's in school, that I will follow a coach's map to the T and not get the same results and still think that I can go back and do it. I've finally seen the show for what it is. It's like, oh my God, we finally pulled back the curtain. We see the wizard pulling the puppet strings, trying to convince me that I can fix my life if I only give them $6,000 and put in enough effort, like hours upon hours upon hours of effort. Like, we're talking about more than a part-time job. I fucking hate coaches, any type of coach, whether they are spiritual or not, that give you a program and say, follow this and you will get that. All they're doing is they're playing to that little dopamine receptor part of my brain that is like, I can organize my life in the perfect way so that people don't reject me, so that I can be successful. All the things that I worry about constantly, these people, and what's funnier is they're also neurospicy. They see the patterns. Somehow they have rigged the game to convince other neurospicy people to buy in to the narrative, and now they're making money off of it, which means they're neurospicy and sociopaths, because the reason the rest of us fail at it is because we can't be that scummy. Yes, I left a pause there, not so much for laughter, but because it's just gross. Yeah, that uncomfortable laughter. Anyway, so why am I talking about this? Okay, yes, back to one foot in front of the other. So I learned you can reprogram your life. And so I just signed up with this coach. When I first saw him, I got a crush on him, which is why I started working with him. Let's be honest. I was like, fixation, all I ever wanted. Dream, you're my dream. So he became my fixation, my dream. So much so that when I got to Bali, oh yes, he's the reason I moved to Bali. When I got to Bali, I was reading tarot cards, and my friend, she and I were pulling cards, and I was talking about this guy, and she pulled the Lover's
Not
card.
a question, just a recollection.
And on either side of it was the High Priestess and the Knight. And that meant we were meant to be together. So I was singing songs about our future, trying to make it happen, bring it into being. So this fixation has stuck, and him and I are good friends. We talk for hours, and he loves to fix people's problems. And there have been times where I'm like, dude, can you chill it out? I don't need your help in this situation. But no matter how many times I tell him that, he still is trying to help me, which means he's also very neurodivergent and can't, like, dude, check the science. But anyway, I was so fixated on being with him that I finally messaged him about it. And I do this with a lot of men. So this is not like
ADHD. I started talking about the
specific
coaching
to
that I didn't
this
like, and
situation.
the reprogramming, and how it doesn't work because I'm so stubborn and I get stuck on what my little heart is stuck on, and apparently that is still romance regardless of how much I wish it weren't. And it is a cute story.
But anyway, I messaged him and I was like, and I'm saying this with all these jokes in my head of like, I kind of know you're weird, and I know like you have all these, but like I hold space for how weird you are. This hold space, that, by the way, is a spiritual term from spiritual jargon.
Is the knowledge I have of the research behind language and how it affects our brain patterns, and also how language is used as another one of those tools to create that common link. Literally, if you speak the same language, then you're going to be understanding each other better. So holding space becomes one of those languages that, oh, you're speaking my language. And so then there's inherent trust, and then that leads to cult behavior, and it's just a long fucking road that again, 4:45 in the morning, that's important. I can't tell you why that's important because it would take too long.
That actually reprograms your brain into a spiritual psychosis. I have a whole song I'm writing about it. The cult of the mentally insane. That's not something you will get in this, but eventually that will make sense when the song is released. Anyway, so I said, knowing all of this, hey, would you consider dating me? And I said it because I know that he's going to love me even after I say this to him. He's going to be nice to me because my rejection at this point, my it's called RSD, but I can't remember what those words stand for, but it's like you were just highly traumatized by the rejections that have happened in your life. So that kicks in, and I'm like, he's gonna like me no matter what. I can handle this. But what I didn't expect was this. You know, Kendra, my life is so insanely complicated, and I have people who are, who if they found out what I know, they would kill you. And I don't want that for you. Meanwhile, I watch him go fuck a lot of really young girls and then also say, yeah, I think she's pregnant. She's missed her period. And, I'm really just down for this. I'm so excited to be a father. And all of that makes sense to him. And when he said it, all of that made sense to me. And now in retrospect, I'm like, oh, fuck. This is why leaving spirituality has been very good for me. Because in my spiritual brain, I'm just, really? That's the very gullible part of me. Anyway, spiritual nostalgia. I can have all the, love for I'm trying to be like Jesus, which led me into, when I got into spirituality, to finding teachings that were the same as Mormonism, being like, it's the same. And it wasn't until I had this thought of you're making friends with your enemy. The kind of people who don't want you to exist. And at first that was my queerness, the fact that I like women. I've never fucked a woman, but I am sexually attracted to them. I've never had that sexual experience. But realizing that I want it, I'm like, oh, that is true. But even further, even if I wasn't attracted to women, the other part that I completely miss is that there is a whole part of society that wants me dead as an autistic person. And in spirituality, people go into these lucid dreaming states where they will have visions, and oftentimes they'll see things like their past lives, where they were a witch and they were hunted. And really all that their brain is telling them is that this world is not safe for you in your weird brain. But you disassociate because you don't want to know that actual truth, and you disassociate and believe that you were a witch in a past life who was being hunted. I also have a big problem with spiritual coaches who teach all of these different things. I used to write for one. I used to write articles for one of these coaches, and it's like she's trying to give these neurodivergent brains a context for reality that involves energy and explaining a lot of religious stuff. My guess is she has a fuck ton of religious trauma herself, and she's trying to sort it out. But the truth is she's just got a really neurodivergent brain, and she can monologue about spiritual things because she sees all the patterns. And she's explaining what she sees, and it's making sense to people, and they're getting confirmation bias because, internet has everything on it now.
Insert oversharing tangent that connects spiritual coaches to my health.
My health. Oh boy. It really is the rabbit hole that led me to spirituality. And so many people have gone down this same rabbit hole that now that I look back on Bali, and I can do this with nostalgia, but I had a lot of trauma about it for a while, and I couldn't. I was like, this was the worst experience of my life. But once now I've got really warm fuzzies about it all, and simultaneously been like, yeah, that was fucked up. Humor is my happy place. So is very skeptical atheism, because it keeps my autistic fuzzies in check. So when I was in Bali, everybody would be like, I'm just in the flow. And at first I was like, so basically you're saying you don't want to hang out. Which was often the truthful answer, but I'm in the flow. Sometimes I'm in the flow is also, I totally got distracted with this thing, and I did want to spend time with you, but I got fixated on this other topic. But that's more like the healthy spectrum. Those are my creative ADD friends here in the States who just are like, no, I totally was like completely distracted, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. But when you are in spirituality, it starts to become normal to lie, but you're lying to yourself, and it's a whole thing. Gaslighting yourself is real when you have autism and ADHD. And I could get into a huge rabbit hole of that, but what's really happening right now is like, all the dopamine is wearing off, and I'm tired, and it's time for bed. So we're gonna have to say goodnight. And I know that that's a big bummer, because I was giving you all sorts of things to laugh about. And like, oh yeah, this girl's fucked up. And I wish I could get back on my high horse and help you out here. But I've given up giving hand jobs just for the dopamine. So I'm going to go to sleep now and dream of more things to tell you, and you can look forward to that later. Thank you, and good night.
The path will show you are safe.